Welcome to Let's Talk Under the Tree. We have the myth, the man, the legend, professional wrestler, Mr. Chico Adams, WXW champion, Ride heavyweight champion, and any other champion with a backyard brawl that you may label him in or whatever you want to call it. Junkyard dog, whatever nicknames he might have, the Massachusetts Brown Brawler. We don't know, but we're going to find out in a little while. Welcome to Let's Talk Under the Tree, man. Glad to have you. Glad you could make it, man. You know, with all this COVID-19 things that's going on right now. You know, right. Um, we're going to jump straight, right into it. A lot of wrestlers, they don't, see a softer side, and I found that you have an organization that you like to be involved with called the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. So ever since early 2017, I've been an official volunteer for the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Central and Northern Florida. So, of course, right now I'm not doing a whole lot with them, but we did have a fundraiser the last couple of months called Walk for Wishes, Wish Heroes. So I was able to raise about $700 through myself and along with other people in the organization. So we raised quite a bit. I think the average goal was like 35,000. So we're not quite there yet. Away. But if anyone would like to donate, just please contact me on any of my social media accounts. Besides that, I love going out and giving back. We do a lot of work with the kids, a lot of charity events and things like that. So yeah, it's very rewarding, and I enjoyed helping out and meeting people and giving back.
Now I'm gonna get real with you. I seen you wrestling at the National Guard Army a few years ago. I was sizing you up, say I might can, take Chico, for a little one-on-one. But after I seen you do your thing, I said, nah, I better not. I don't think I'm going to, mess with you on that level. But as far as the physical conditioning, I was amazed, bro, when I seen you, doing your thing. What does it really take? Because I know after about 30 seconds to maybe 2 minutes, I'll be done. I really didn't realize that, you wasn't, top physical conditioning as far as your, what you had to do and shape you have to be in to do that profession. What do you have to do, man?
Well, first and foremost, anyone who is working shows should be trained by a reputable trainer. So it takes a lot of hours of hard training. I mean, not only that, but also training on your own, like in the gym, doing cardio, doing weight training. Like you said, it takes a lot of conditioning to be able to do that. I've seen guys that played football, played all kinds of sports, construction workers come in, and within a couple of minutes they're throwing up, can't handle it. So it it takes a lot of physical toughness, but a lot of mental toughness as well. But the best thing to do is to go to a reputable wrestling school and just give it your all, but come into it already being in good shape, not only just for cardio conditioning wise, but also for physical appearance. 'Cause let's be honest, I mean, it's a body business, and the better you look, the more serious people will take you.
Right. How long is the wrestling school?
Well, training never stops, but the average time for to be ready for a match is usually between 6 months to a year,
Hmm.
depending on how much you train, how hard you train, how often. I've seen guys get matches sooner than that. So some people pick it up right away. Other people it takes time. But I would say 6 months to a year before you have your first live match at a show. But then from there, you have to continue training. I mean, there's plenty of people out there that might quit training and just do shows, but you're definitely limiting yourself, and you're just hurting yourself in the long run because it takes you never stop. It's just like anything. If you really want it, you don't know. No one knows everything. You have to continue to train, learn from as many different people as you can, and yeah. So training never stops. That's the short answer there.
Is there a special diet that you follow? Like maybe vegetarian or no carbs, no bread?
Me personally, I try to limit sugar. I try to eat as much natural whole foods as I can. So like fruits, vegetables, lean meats from time to time. Um, I don't really drink too much dairy products just because my body didn't always react to it a certain way. So I would usually drink like almond milk, I'll have Greek yogurt once in a while. Um, But yeah, I just try to limit sugar. I try to eat smaller meals every couple hours. So I'll have like 5 to 6 smaller meals a day. Drink a lot of water. Just try to eat natural and not too much sugar.
Is your lifestyle, you have to stay in shape and eat the right way? Is it very expensive to maintain it?
It is more expensive to eat healthy. However, to me, it pays for itself in the long run because by eating healthier, by exercising, you're decreasing how much you get sick. And so, in the long run, like for example, if I were to just eat junk food and not work out or not do any of those things, there's a good chance I would get sick more often. I might have to go to the doctors more often. So, in my opinion, you'll save money in the long run by eating healthy, not so much financially, but more so for your health because you can't buy health. I mean, it
Right.
takes a lot of work to that, but it's like putting money in the bank. You'll live longer, your quality of life will improve, and you won't get sick as much. So to me, it pays for itself to eat healthy, but it can be expensive, but it's worth it.
I want to do an impersonation of you. Then we'll move on. I seen you at your match, and I like how you did that thing, man. You said at the match, "Shut up." That was
My
funny.
my biggest pet peeve is for was when people chant Chico sucks because
Yeah,
everyone knows I suck. So
yeah,
whenever I hear chant that, I gotta stop it right away. And usually, whenever I say to stop or to shut up, they keep chanting it more for some reason.
yeah, yeah. I know you are a big admirer of Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you like his workout style, the way he bodybuild, his movies? What kind of give you the inspiration? I know he was a big inspiration on you as far as what you're doing right now. So could you tell the fans, why do you like, the Terminator so much?
So I was probably like maybe 7 or 8 when I first started watching the Terminator series, like Terminator, Terminator 2. Terminator 2 became my favorite movie right off the bat. I've seen it. I used to watch it straight through and rewind it, and keep watching it over and over again. It's by far my favorite movie. He was my first hero.
Hmm.
He was just his movies, the action. He was just a huge inspiration for me, and he was a larger than life figure. And then when I got into high school and I started lifting weights, I started looking at him more for his bodybuilding past, what he had over, and he became an inspiration for me in the bodybuilding aspect of it, and as well as the movies. So no, to me, he's just a very positive, larger than life figure who made
Yes.
a huge name for himself. Just from he went from being in this other country to people told him he wouldn't be able to make it as an actor because of his accent, because of his name,
Right.
because of lack of experience, and he was able to achieve all his goals and then some. The only thing he wasn't able to do is become president, but out of his control. But no, he made a bunch of goals and a list of accomplishments he wanted to achieve, and he crushed them all. So I
Yes.
just
Good.
to me, inspiration, just not just for bodybuilding, but for also for acting and just in life in general.
And you also had an experience with the WWE, a little bit of security work. How was that? Were you starstruck, or you just did what you had to do? You was with what, Stone Cold Steve Austin, a little
No,
security work.
well, I've had 2 matches with WWE. They were
Right.
both through NXT. They were both
Right.
dark matches. One was
Hmm.
against Leo Rush. The other was a tag match against Viking Raiders. Besides that, yeah, I've done a lot of security work, EMT, um, backstage, medical trainer, you name it. I think the picture you're referring to was actually Goldberg this
Yes.
past
Okay.
weekend. I got to be one of the 2 security guards that escorted him out before his big match with Braun Strowman. But no, I don't get starstruck. I mean, I'm very honored to be there. I'm very fortunate to be there. But to me, I look at them as as colleagues or people that I want to one day share the locker room with. I mean, they're a major source of inspiration. But um, when you enter the wrestling business, you have to maintain a certain level of professionalism, and you can't ask for autographs, you can't ask for pictures. I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
people do it, people have done it, and they'll find out the hard way that it's not a good idea because
Wow.
you want to maintain a level of respect and professionalism. You want to like a fan, then stay a fan. That's how they look at it. But if you want to be a professional, you have to maintain that, and you have to conduct yourself in a certain manner if you want to get that respect.
So those guys, they look pretty big on TV. So in person, are they really huge character dudes? I mean, in real life, because on TV they look about say 6'5", 275, and you were around them. So are they really nice dudes, or they were just strictly business during their match when you talk to them?
Most of them are very respectful. I mean, a lot of times, like just like myself, when I'm doing my own shows, a lot of times they're in their own zone. They have a lot going on. Not just in the wrestling aspect of it, but in life in general. But they've always been very respectful. I've never had a negative experience, and a lot of them, they understand the grind and the hustle because they know what it's like to come from the independent level and to have to fight, scratch and claw. So a lot of them are very very respectful, very nice. Um, but it depends on which one in terms of their size. Like some guys look bigger on TV, other guys look bigger in person. So um, but you're starting to see the business evolve so that I don't want to say smaller guys, but guys that look more athletic, more realistic, as opposed to back in the day when everyone was or most people were 6'4", 6'5",
Right, right,
6'8".
right.
You're starting to see guys that are more athletic that may not be all that tall, but they can back it up in the ring and yeah.
Well, after a match, what's the recovery time for your body? Because with all the physical things that you do, all the running around and jumping, what's the recovery time, before you get ready to do another match?
I mean, I've had shows before where I'd wrestle multiple matches in one night.
Hmm.
I used to go one time. It was an outside festival show, and I actually did I think 7 matches in one day. So, and sometimes you'll do a show and they'll ask you to wrestle 2 matches. So there's no real set recovery time. I mean, some matches will take more out of you than others, but you have to be ready to go at all times because many times you'll do sometimes 2 shows in one day. You'll do 2 matches in one show. You'll do an entire Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're wrestling in WWE, you have to be ready to go at all times. You'll be wrestling multiple times a week. So there's no set recovery time, but you have to always just be ready for anything, physically and mentally.
To the best of my knowledge, Chris Jericho is about your size, 5'11" or so.
I've never stood next to him, but from what I've heard, he's about 5'10", I believe.
Right. And he gave you a lot of inspiration because he seemed like he came up, through the ranks as an underdog because of his size. Does that give you a little drive and push to say, because you're about what, 5'11", I would say?
Well, I think he's 5'11". I'm about 5'10".
Okay.
But yeah, he's a huge inspiration for me as well for that very reason because you know because I'm not the tallest, so I have to find ways to make up for it with the interaction with the crowd,
Right.
promos, things like that. So he was always someone that I looked towards and said, okay, like he was never the biggest, especially when he was in WCW, first came to WWE, he was surrounded by a lot of these guys that were much bigger than him. So he was able to stand out and carve his own niche from the showmanship style and as well as the in-ring style. So he made himself appear so much bigger because of all the other things he did. Yeah, he was definitely a huge inspiration of mine, and I'd love to be able to wrestle him. That's a dream match for me.
Oh, wow. Next time you have your match, a lot of folks, yelling out, Chico sucks. I'm going to play a sound bite. I'm going to give you something to say to him. And that way you don't have to worry about him anymore. There you
Who is you?
go. And that's all you have to say. Did you get it?
What's that?
Did you get this? Did you see the sound bite?
I did not. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll play it again for you. If they're saying Chico sucks, that's all you have
Oh,
to say. This is your next thing, Just let them know a little bit about this right here.
Who is you?
I wasn't able to hear it. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
I
okay.
see it.
You didn't get it.
I see it pop up, and it says there's no sound. So
Oh, that's okay. As far as working out with the coronavirus, have that, impacted you from doing what you got to do, or you just do it at home?
so during the quarantine, when we had a couple of months off, obviously the gyms were closed. So I would go to like a local park, and I would do like a lot of body weight exercises. So I would do like Hindu squats, burpees, push-ups, crunches, things like that. So I had to alter my workouts. And I love being inside of a gym. I love the weights. So when things did open back up, I was back in the gym lifting weights, seeing good progress doing that. But the last few weeks, because of the spike in numbers, I've been going back to doing workouts at home. So it's good in a way because you have to be able to adapt to different things, and sometimes it's good to give your body a break from like if you're just doing mainly weights and cardio in the gym, you have to find ways to think outside of the box but still challenge yourself. So I'm still keeping up at it. I'm just not doing it at the gym right now. I'm just doing it at home. Just doing a lot of cardio, body weight exercises, and just finding ways to challenge myself. So that way, next time I'm in the ring, I'm ready to go.
You know what? I can really see you on the next level, permanent and full time. I can see it. You have the personality. And I guess you always, say with different folks, you have to have a certain look, you know? And
Absolutely.
and I think you got it, man. You're determined. One thing I can say about you, your grind is hard, 24/7. You got to live it, eat it, breathe it. You know.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a competitive business that you have to be on your toes at all times, and being positive and believing in yourself is a huge aspect of that. 'Cause if you don't believe in yourself, why should the fans believe in you? Why should promoters believe in you? First and foremost, it starts with yourself. So thank you for that.
Right. Yeah. When did you kind of knew you wanted to wrestle? Did you wrestle in high school, or you just all of a sudden woke up one morning, seen Terminator 2, and that was it?
Well, I got into watching Terminator and Arnold Schwarzenegger movies before I started watching wrestling consecutively. I started watching wrestling consecutively. I say consecutively because I've seen it like on and off before that, but started watching it full time, as I would say, in the fall of 1998. And Stone Cold Steve Austin is the one who drew me to it.
Mm.
But even prior to that, I always wanted to be involved in entertainment, whether it was um, movies or just I love being in front of the camera and I love being behind the camera. So at the time, I wanted to be an actor like Arnold Schwarzenegger or a director, or something involving entertainment. And then when wrestling came along, it just really captivated me because it was everything wrapped up into one. It was Terminator mixed with Power Rangers mixed with horror movies. So it captivated me, and so almost immediately when I started watching it, that's when I knew like that's what I want to do. So
Wow. On your circuit that you wrestle in, have you faced anyone that just was that guy and had that technique, and all you could say was "damn"? I mean, there's nothing you could do with him.
there's a lot of guys that I've wrestled that I would just say falls into that category. One person that I had a lot of solid matches with was Gangrel, Dave Heath. He was someone that I grew up watching, and then I wrestled him for the first time WrestleMania weekend 2017 in Orlando. And it was at the time it was very surreal because he was someone that I grew up watching, and then to be in the ring with him, I mean he's tough and he's able to go. I mean, he's been doing this probably before I was born, but he's very challenging inside the ring. Another guy I would say is Adam Rose. Also, he was in WWE, but he was someone. I mean, I knew he was a great wrestler, but being in the ring with him, I was like, man, this guy's incredible. I mean, to me, like I felt like he should have. He was a top guy when he was in FCW, but to me, he should have been a top guy in WWE. He had the look, he had the charisma. To me, he was the total package, and I found out.
I'm a little older than you. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Wahoo McDaniels, old
Yeah, of
school wrestler.
course,
Okay,
for sure.
has anyone ever gave you that chop across your chest and you said just like, what, wow?
Oh yeah,
Wahoo had the chop.
yeah. I've been chopped by some pretty tough guys. Yeah, probably one of the hardest choppers I've been in the ring with. He left some good prints on my chest, but the crowd, every time I get chopped, they're like, one more time. So I'm always anticipating, okay, these fans are gonna want to see it, and the more they hate you, the more they want you to get chopped. People always
Wow.
tell me I have the perfect chest for it. That's what people say. So, but no, Adam Rose definitely up there is one of the hardest choppers that I've been in the ring with.
Right. I see that you like The Rock. I like The Rock also, believe it or not. And I think he had, some pretty good technique, in the style that he was doing it back then. I don't think he'll get back into wrestling as far as I know, you know. But why do you, admire The Rock, man?
I just when I first started watching it in fall of 1998, this was a time when he joined the corporation with Vince McMahon, and I loved his personality. You know, he was this charismatic bully, and it was just even as a bad guy, it was so hard not to like him. I've always admired the way he connected with the audience. He proved that you don't have to be the best wrestler, or the biggest wrestler. It's all about connecting with the fans and leaving them happy. And he was able to connect better than anybody in history, the business, in my opinion. So he just had that charisma but he also could back it up in the ring, on the microphone. I mean, to me, he was the true total package. But yeah, he just
Wow.
found that way to make the fans feel special. And look at him now. He's one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood, and I feel like
Yes.
he definitely wouldn't be where he is today if it wasn't for that experience in the WWE, being behind, in front of the camera, learning behind the scenes, being in front of a live audience. It set him up for the success he has now.
Yes. And his dad passed away maybe a year ago, I would say, Rocky Johnson, something like that.
He passed away this past January, actually.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy. I was around him a couple of times. Early last year,
Mm.
I did a show over the weekend with him in Milton, Florida, near Pensacola. We actually got to stay at a house with him, so I was able
Wow.
to, and he gave me a lot of great advice. And yeah, it's a shame, but
Wow.
he always spoke highly about his son and his son's work ethic. And that's another reason I admire The Rock too, is his work ethic. He always seemed so humble. Even when you listen to like interviews or people talk about him, they always say he's the same guy as he was, you know, 20, 25 years ago. He's always been humble, respectful, the hardest worker in the room, as they say, and that carries over. And to me, that's an important thing to remember too. Is no matter how much success you achieve, that can be taken away tomorrow. But what matters is how you treat people and the respect you give and receive.
Wow. Have you ever heard of Burhead Jones, old school wrestler?
I don't believe so, actually. I mean, I'm sure I may
Yes.
have seen stuff before, but I don't. The name doesn't sound familiar.
I think back then it was called the NWA or something like that. That's my second cousin. You can YouTube it. His wrestling name was Burhead Jones, but his real name was Melvin Nelson. But wrestling name I think is Burhead, Burhead Jones. He wrestled with Ric Flair back then, Blackjack Mulligan, all them boys.
Okay, yeah, I gotta look it up then. I'm sure I may
Yeah,
have seen it before.
yeah. I like Ric Flair. I mean, that's my
Oh
boy.
yeah, of course. Does
Go ahead.
yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't like Ric Flair?
Yeah. Have you ever met him?
I have actually. I met him backstage before at TNA about 9 years ago, and then I actually saw him probably about a month ago at the Performance Center. I was there doing extra work, and he actually held the door for me, which was very nice of him. I felt bad. I was like, I should be holding it for you. He's like, no, 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 go ahead, I got you. So yeah,
Wow.
very nice guy, and I admire what he does inside the ring and out.
Is it really that hard to go to the next level? Because in baseball you have different levels, the minor leagues and I'm not sure if they call it the farm league, but in wrestling, you have the private circuit. Then I guess you go with WWE. Is the grind really that hard? What does it take? I mean, you just never know when you're going to get that call. Is it politics? What really? What is it?
There's a lot that determines that. Like some people achieve success and get signed within their first couple of years. Other times, there's plenty of guys that don't get signed until they're 10, 15, sometimes 20 years in. I mean, you just
Mm-hmm.
never know. There's so many different factors. I mean, there's people who have been signed because they were related to a certain celebrity or because they had a certain presence on social media. Other times, they're guys that were in the NFL, actors, things like that. And the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
it's like just like anything. If I want to go from here to my hometown in Massachusetts, there's many different avenues. I can fly, I can drive, I can walk, I can hitchhike. There's many different ways to get to where you want to be, and everyone's journey is different. So there's no, you know, true answer, but the key is to, it does take a lot of work no matter who you are. The key is, being respectful, being humble, dependable more than anything, hardworking, having a unique look, bringing something different to the table, because it is a very competitive industry to be in, and there's so many people fighting for it. So you want to separate yourself from the pack and just bring something to the table that no one else has seen before. You look at guys like John Cena. He had the great look, he had the charisma, and when he started doing the rapping gimmick, that just took right off because it was different. No one had seen that before, and he just had that ability to the audience. So yeah, there's many different ways to make it, and everyone's journey is different, and sometimes timing is everything too. You never know if or when that opportunity will be there, but you always have to be on your toes because you never know. Like, for example, I've done shows before where there might not be many people in the audience, and one of the wrestlers might say, "Oh, I'm going to take it easy tonight because there's not many people out there." So, well, that could be the match that could get you noticed. I mean, you don't know who's out there. It could be a talent scout watching, or someone could be filming the match, putting it online, and that could be the match that a talent scout sees. So if you take it easy one night, or if you don't exert yourself, that could be the match that could make or break your career. So you always have to be on point. Also, being careful what you post on social media and conducting yourself, in a professional manner, because we're supposed to be professional athletes, and we're having children and families watch us. You always have to be careful. There's plenty of talented men and women out there that end up, hurting themselves because they post things or they do things that hurt their image. And all it takes is one tweet or one text message to here. So
That is very true because getting off topic a little bit, the country singer Darius Rucker said the same thing in country music. If you say one thing wrong, your whole career is damaged. You're exactly right what you're saying.
yeah, it takes years and years to build up that reputation, but it take a second to throw it away as well.
Right. So what's next for you? I know you had a match in June. I know we have this pandemic. So now are you at a standstill with everything?
I mean, right now I was supposed to have a show last Saturday for WXW, but they ended up postponing it due to the increase in numbers, and they also they postponed the next two shows. So the next WXW show won't be until September. My next scheduled match will actually be on the 31st. I'll be wrestling Elijah Burke. So
Oh, wow.
I'll be defending the next level title against Elijah Burke. He actually lives in Jackson, I believe.
Wow.
So,
Where's that going to be at?
that will be in Cocoa, Florida, for Top Evolutionary Wrestling.
Wow. Okay, man, that's good. But I appreciate your time, man. With everything, God bless you. And, um, I want you to get that big, that big contract with the WWE. You deserve it, man,
Hey,
And I still have that picture that you gave me, in Jacksonville, Florida.
awesome. I appreciate your support, and it was a true honor to be.
I'm going to say a little prayer for you. We usually try to do it in a little prayer. I'm going to pray for Chico. Lord, bless Chico with his wrestling career. Keep him safe from the pandemic. Keep him safe in his next match from free of injury. And bless him on the highway during his travel. In your name we pray, amen.
Thank you.
All right. Just hold on a second. Thanks everyone for listening and watching to Let's Talk Under the Tree. We appreciate everybody and bless Chico during his journey, man. That he make it and everything goes well. Let's stay on for about 10 seconds or so after the fact and we'll go from there. Y'all have a good night and be blessed during the week. And I'm out on Mr. Palmer with Talking Under the Tree with Chico Adams, professional wrestler. And I'll holler at you later.
Hold on.